This will be the second week 32 video for life after a house fire. Not a lot has occurred on the inside of the house this last week. Most of the stuff that's happened, most of the progress that's occurred on the outside of the house. So what we're seeing on the inside is more or less the same. The heating and air conditioning folks came by and started to install some makeup air. So the hood, the kitchen hood that we're installing is a 600 CFM cubic feet per minute unit that draws so much air that you run the risk of blowing out pilot lights on furnaces and water heaters. So it's a good idea to install an item that will introduce sort of balance air between one draw and another, so you're not drawing air from spaces you shouldn't be. So that's the progress that occurred on the inside of the house. All the electrical is, we passed our electrical and plumbing inspection this week. We're waiting on the mechanical, so the heating and air conditioning, we're waiting on that, and also so hopefully this week we'll have insulation done, and a week from Monday, so 9 days from now, we'll start to see some drywall hung up in this place. And again, my enthusiasm hasn't waned for that. I'm pretty giddy. Our contractor indicates that from the time the first piece of drywall is hung until it's done being painted is probably a month, maybe a little less. So the entire month of February is going to be dedicated to more or less that. And then very beginning of March, the flooring, hardwood floors get installed, and the remainder of the flooring, and then finish work, trim, what have you. So we're starting to have conversations about, in our other house, and the house that we're in temporarily, having conversations about what it's going to mean to move out of that place. And it's probably, we're not too far away from calling movers. Believe it or not, I mean, looking at this place, you wouldn't imagine that we're that close, but I think we're probably 2 months, maybe 2 months and a week away from that point. So what I'm doing today is attempting to finish some Parastrand or PSLs. These are a series of decorative beams that'll be installed on the ceiling in this room. This is our home theater. There'll be a series of 4 beams running in this direction, and then along the ridge there'll be another beam. This one here, substantially bigger, is going to run from right to left above the projector screen, and then we'll have a series of 4 beams running down this direction. And this is the material that we're using. If I can, I'll set up the camera to do a bit of a time lapse to show what the process might look like, but we'll start with 60 grit, go to 80 putty, do 80 again, and then maybe putty again, do 80 in spots, so we don't expose more voids, because these pieces are so full of voids that it's going to become a bit like chasing your tail. You don't want to do sand too much, and then do 120, and then I'll hand them off to the contractors, and they can manage the final bits of finish work. So these will ideally be installed this week as well. Again, this is week 32. This is an interior video for week 32. This is a video series that I'm trying to show folks what life might be like if you experience a structure fire similar to ours. I'm an open book. If anybody has any questions about what life is like after a house fire, I'm here for you. It's a challenging experience, but we're far enough along in the process that the shock, I feel like, is more or less gone, and now we're just anxious to make progress happen. My name's Eric, and this is Still My House.